Finnegan, good day, welcome. Thanks for coming into our podcast today. Today we've got some special guests from McGrath Estates, Creek to Coast. We've got Troy Pinder. Thank you for coming in today, Troy. So we've got Satch Rutter, a previous student at BDC, now alumni, and made some amazing inroads into the world of real estate. And a current student, we've got Teo Whitlock, who's also working with McGrath as well. So welcome to BDC, or you haven't left us yet. And Troy, I'd just like to start off. What's really interested you in your role and also, of course, the estate business to welcome students from BDC into traineeships or work experience or even work placement?
Thank you, Simon. For me and our team and partners and leadership team, the main thing that we want to do is give back to the community. We see that the young people of tomorrow, potentially in a regional town, aren't given as many opportunities as those in the city. And for us, we've got some amazing young people within our area, and you don't always have to move away, and you can experience a professional working environment. We've got the courage to come in and knock on the door and have a conversation. Why wouldn't we want to give them some experience in the workforce?
Satch, if I go to you first, like Troy's just talked about partnership, being in a regional town that looks out for each other and very community-minded. What were some of your first impressions when you joined, coming in as a student to try perhaps the future in real estate? And then what made you stay and keep going all the way through with real estate?
When I first met Troy and the team there at McGrath, it was very, very prominent off the bat that they've got great culture. Troy, aside from industry, has created a great team around him. Coming in when I was in Sawtell quite regularly, my grandparents lived down there and saw them on the corner of the street, thought, I'd pop in and say g'day in my Christmas holidays and see if I could pick up a bit of work.
So you stayed with real estate, and like Troy's obviously taken you under his wing, mentored, because you've left high school now, you're into the real estate game. Where has it taken you to? How did the business and Troy's mentorship help you actually gain any further training or qualification?
So since leaving, I've actually become fully licensed now. So I've done, I began doing a Certificate 3, which thanks to Bishop Druitt, I was able to do an SBAT. It allowed me to be exposed to the world of real estate and be given that opportunity to dip my toe in the water there and see what it was all about. And then from there, flowed right through to the point where I am now, where, fortunate to be under one of the partners, Rebecca. I think it's going to be a long time with them.
Oh, that sounds like an excellent start to your career. It really does. We talked about SBATs, and so that's a school-based apprentice and traineeship. Just for people that might be thinking about looking at this pathway, I'm not really sure, Year 10 students, what does that briefly mean if you want to do or do sign up to an SBAT?
Around about year 9, towards the tail end of year 9, we were introduced to the career pathways. There's many different opportunities, whether you're looking to do a business course through TAFE or, what that looks like for you, and you could sort of pick your pathway and pick something that took your interest. And at the time, I thought property was something I was quite interested in. I, put it to them to see if we could somehow merge. And being able to flow through from the two, it was, I believe, 1 day a week. I was out there at McGrath with Troy and 4 days, still at Bishop Druitt. And so it was a really good feeler to get a sense of the 9 to 5, get a feel for what you're actually doing on a day in, day out.
It is good that you could get a taste for it, put your foot in the door, so to speak, work with a great local company, work with Troy and now with Rebecca on her team as well. What's a tip you've got for anyone that's considering an SBAT, like still in school, still looking in the workforce?
My one tip would be that if you're curious around a certain industry or pathway, get on the front foot, be proactive, talk to the person involved at the time, whether that be your careers advisor, your teacher, potential employer in that space, and see if they can find some options that are available for you to merge the two during your studies.
Thanks very much for your insights, Satch. I totally agree. It's about taking the step, and sometimes people call that courage. But you had the courage to go, look, I'm really interested in this, and approached, a known employer, someone who looks out in the community, and to see if it really was something that you wanted to pursue. And congratulations on becoming licensed.
Thank you.
And thanks again for coming in and sharing a little bit about your experience with our BDC community, and hopefully help some of our students make good choices like you did.
No worries at all.
Yeah. Teo, thanks for waiting. We've heard some great thoughts from Satch and from Troy, but I'm really very curious. Like you're very active around the school. You're one of our leaders as well in how you present yourself and how you work with teachers and things. So all of a sudden, you are like a member of the community that people look up to, expect certain things if you're going to an open house or in the shop front, for example. So it's quite different to school in some ways, but some of your character attributes are very well aligned to what you're doing now. So what did spark your interest in real estate?
Well, I'd first like to say thank you, Simon, for having me here today. What really sparked me in real estate is the community around me and how people tell me I'm such a social, active guy. My parents guide me a lot in life. McGrath within Sawtell is such like a tight team and we all support each other. Troy and my fellow team members, Josh and Avon, every time I do something even small, they just back me, or when I do a little mistake, they guide me in the right direction without forcing too much pressure on me to be perfect all the time, which helps me not make mistakes but understand how real estate works more. And what really, really got me into real estate was when we did the year 10 work experience. I came in for a week. Everyone treated me with like upright respect. I thought I was just going to come in, do paperwork for a whole week and just be the little side kid who just doesn't do much. I did some inspections with Satch and walked around, and I found it's a lot more less in the office but more outside the office. I like moving around and talking to people. After the week of work experience, I think this actually might be something I really want to do. And here I am now doing 2 times a week, Saturday and Monday. Saturday, the open homes, and then Monday, buyer callbacks and learning what they thought about the house. And I've loved doing these 2 days ever since. And I think it's a really good path for me for the future and next year. And wherever it takes me, I'm happy to go.
Wow, thank you for sharing that. That's exciting start like to your career and perhaps your vocation where you're headed. It's not easy. Like you've chosen to explore this possible role, this vocation as you move forward, potentially more learning and training. Yeah, was there something that surprised you since you've started working with Troy and the team? And what's your goal for this year?
Yeah, what surprised me a lot was you come into real estate, everyone makes it so flashy, glamorous. You come into such a good team and you look at everyone and everyone's working so much harder than you think. And it just inspires me that my colleagues are setting such a good example for me to work so hard in the future. And I know I'm only doing 2 days a week, but when I'm in there, I'm trying to be the most focused I can. Obviously still learning a lot in school and focusing on school in times that I need to. And what really surprised me is that how hard Troy works, and even Satch. Like Troy, when I first came in, he is the principal of McGrath. And when you come in and look at him and how hard he's working every single day, whether if it's him auctioning a property at the Super Sunday event or him just going to run an open home, every question, he's always on the money and has got it right. And it's just so like interesting how he knows every answer to every property. And he's still walking around in the office just guiding people every day, giving them little tips here and there, or whether if it's a conversation outside or whether if it's just a happy birthday call that he gives me. It's just that he knows everyone in the team and he's such a big inspiration. I mean, he walks down in Sawtell Main Street and every second person's saying hi to him. And I think he knows it, but sometimes he needs someone to say to him how good of a boss he is. And it's just awesome, and it's really inspired me and made me look at real estate in a different way. At the start of the year, I've actually done my ACL, so I've had an operation of that, so that's been hard for me. A lot less challenging to work on the weekends because I can't surf anyway. My goal for this year, that's a big question. Firstly, go well in my HSC and still build connections and keep the connections after school with my friends and colleagues. Real estate has such a big community role, and knowing people and talking to people, still having an active life. I don't want to go all into work. I think breaks are just as important as working to keep your mental health in check. Keeping a strong connection with my family that's one of my most important things. My mum and my dad and my sister play such a big role in my life, and I just love to appreciate that every day. I try to be as organised as I can, but really transitioning from the full-time school to full-time McGrath work, I want to see myself improve and knowing what I'm coming in for every day and understanding every house and every person that comes through, just building small connections, as I said.
I would just like to comment that your focus on connections and with your family and, of course, your friends is really important straight after school, and I'm sure Satch and Troy would agree. Because at the end of this term, every HSC student in Year 12 finishes and you don't have to get up for that 8:30 bell anymore. So it is about you and your connection to friends and all the things you like or family that you then drive as well. So I don't think you'll have any worries with that. But yes, do it with purpose. And Troy, I was really curious, if you don't mind me asking, you run a very busy business, so McGrath Estate, Creek to Coast, and you support a lot of young people through work experience or through sponsorships, things like that. Would you mind sharing a couple of thoughts on, if I was a young person looking for work experience even, or potentially work placement, what stands out to you when someone rings up or comes in, or what do you prefer to do or see or hear? We also know a lot of our businesses like yourselves get approached by many people, but what makes someone stand out to you?
I think for me, I've always had been attracted to people who have sort of an energy and an edge. I think the skill is something that we learn together with. It's an industry that you will never stop learning in. But when someone comes in that they can hold a conversation with myself, it's also, and for me, we're our leaders, creating an environment where they feel comfortable, but I want them to put themselves out there. I want them to be able to hold a conversation with an adult. And if they can do that with me and show an energy, I think the rest we can teach. The tip that I would say for a young person is to just get out there and talk early. You see the people that come through with work experience, they talk to me very early on in the piece. I can tell you I've already got 3 planned between now and November. Of people coming into experience between the 2 offices. We want you to come in and experience it because, real estate is, it's a beautiful industry because we get to support so many people through most transactions are the biggest transaction in their life. And it starts normally from their first rental. To their first investment, to their first home, and to their families migrating. And then at the other end, it's, unfortunately, we have to work through difficult situations at times, and if you can have a conversation and be real and be empathetic and show that there's an answer to every situation, I think that's what you look for. So going back to the original statement, energy and edge, and being able to have a conversation with someone confidently.
I like that. Thank you. Energy and edge. I might keep that one. From your point of view, looking at schools and young people that might want work experience or work placement, have you got any advice for us as a schools on how to support?
It's the school, but also the business being open to take someone in because they may not have the time, and which means that the person that's interested in that industry probably doesn't get the experience that you would want them to. Have they got the time to invest in giving the student the experience that they deserve, because I see it as an opportunity that there's such a great talent that comes through, that's what these work experience placements are for, is to really experience and dip your toes into what it is really like.
Thank you, and thanks for your time today. And I think that's important too. Work experience might be an opportunity to really find out something you thought you were keen on, but you weren't, or you weren't suited to as well. So it does work both ways as well when you consider it like that. Look, today I'd just like to thank you, Troy, and obviously all the work you do through McGrath Estate and Creek to Coast, and also to all the businesses locally that support our students going out to work experience. Very excited you've ended up, Satch, and the qualifications you've got and how well you're going. And Teo, wish you all the best for your HSC this year, and thanks again for what you shared and your goals. I'm sure the year's looking very good ahead for you, and good luck with the knee.
Thank you.